All right. I got some good shit for you guys today. Making mistakes versus chosen back steps. So what is the difference? Because I know you guys are like scared. You're like deathly afraid to make a mistake, deathly afraid to like overstep your bounds and like quote someone too high and like offend someone. Like there's kind of this trend of fear of making a mistake. But what is the difference between making a mistake where you like genuinely you didn't realize that you were doing something like that had a bad outcome or a negative consequence? Because there's one thing where it's like legit ignorance. Like if you touch a hot stove and you're like, oh, I did not realize that was hot. Shit, that's a mistake. I'll never do that again. Like that's a mistake. But if you repeatedly touch that stove because you're some kind of a self-masochist or a sadist, you're like, let me just poke my finger. Like maybe it'll be cold this time. No, it's not going to be cold. I actually like getting burned. Let me just like stick my finger. Oh shit, I got burned. Like, and then you keep doing that over and over again. Like that's at that point, it's not a mistake. That's a chosen form of self-torture. That's a chosen back step. That's like choosing to be basically stupid. Like I have a client that would call that willful ignorance. I have a coach that would call that a chosen back step. Like you're taking a step back by choice. So what is the difference? Like really think about that. Like when you guys are like building your copywriting business and you're afraid to make a mistake, what does that actually mean? Right? Like I just posted about this on my Instagram stories this morning. So I was telling this story about how when I was in the like early years of my business, I didn't fully know what I was doing, but I quoted high. So for example, I had this client and I quoted him $8,000, 8 grand for a project. And I had never done that kind of project before, but I felt like I knew that I could figure it out. And I was like, this project excites me. Like it has all the elements, all the things that I want to work on as a copywriter. And I'm just going to go for it. And I like wrote a little like paragraph proposal, not a detailed thing, but just like, here's what I could do. Boom, 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 boom. And then at the end, I was like, okay, how about like $8,000 for this? Like, can you imagine just sending that email to someone? And he didn't reply right away. I started telling myself a story. Oh shit, maybe I should have quoted like 4,000. Maybe I should have quoted less. Ooh, he's pissing me. Ooh, he's never going to work with me again. And I was like telling myself this story as I'm waiting instead of going and doing something positive for myself. And so like a day later, he comes back and he says, perfect, let's do it. And I did the happy dance. I did the scream. And so he mailed a check. It took like a week for me to get the check. And then my bank was like, this is unusual. This person doesn't get this much deposits. We're going to hold this for like another week. So I didn't actually get the funds released for like 2 whole weeks, but I was still happy. And, but the point was I had the ovaries to quote that high of a fee. Was that a mistake because I didn't know what I was doing? Was that a mistake because I wasn't qualified? Was that like shame on me for even asking for that? No, it was me being like, you know what? Copywriting is a valuable skill. That's what everybody says. Like literally one of the top coaches just posted a video saying copywriting is like one of the top skills to learn in 2023, which it is because it's sales. Like businesses that have good copy and they have good writing, they sell the most. Businesses that have poor copywriting, they don't sell as much. They don't connect with people as deeply. So the point of this is make the mistake. Like, don't be afraid to make a mistake. It wasn't actually a mistake for me to quote that high.
I think the mistake was I didn't quote $15,000 back then. But I learned from that. And I said, you know what, next time we do a project like this, I am going to quote 15,000. Do you know what that client said the next time? He said, perfect, let's do it. This is a client that wasn't broke. Okay. He had money. He had like plenty of sales in his business. And part of this is you're learning to pitch those people and find those people that actually have the budget to pay for a copywriter, because a person that doesn't have the budget is very different from the person that does have the budget. So two different clients, not saying one is like a terrible person, the other is not. Like they're just different levels. So you want the high level clients. You want the people that want to grow their business. They understand the value of copywriting. You might want to write that down. Like there are clients out there that understand the value of copywriting. And there are clients out there who understand the value of a person who has a really good attitude. A copywriter that comes in that maybe they're not that experienced, but they have a really fucking good attitude. They're humble, hungry, and smart, all three of those. They appreciate the value of that. And they're more likely to give that person a chance versus like a copywriter who has 20 years of experience, but has a really shitty attitude, which those people are out there. They exist. You have a better chance of coming in with a good attitude, like demonstrating that you want this work. You're hungry for the work. So someone who's comfortable, they're not hungry. That's a bad attitude. Do you know what I mean? Like someone who really wants the work and they're absorbing everything and they're learning, and you can tell that they're learning. That's a hungry person. Someone who actually takes that risk and they quote the high fees, even though it makes them a little nervous, like they're constantly doing things that make them nervous. That's a hungry person. That's refreshing for those people to hire and be around, because they're inspired by that. They're like, wow, I really admire that. Like, and that up levels them as well. So don't be afraid to make a mistake. And don't see something as a mistake if it's actually not.